Okay, so in this video I'm going to demonstrate using PostTrans to import multiple transactions of multiple types into multiple Xero companies. Same principle is true for Sage 50, 200 and probably any other accounts package we write the software for. Where did I get this example from? If I click on examples, and down the bottom there's transactions to multiple companies. So I opened that. I must admit I've done a little bit of editing because I've got to try to make all the products and everything the same in both companies. So I've got two Xero companies, both of which have been coded with a little code, COMT01 and Demo02. So normally in a template we go to setup and we press this change button here, and that sets the company for the entire sheet. Okay, but what we've done here is we've added a tag THBFSW company, and what that stands for is before switch company if need be. So there we have our companies, and as you'd expect we've got in-cell searching so we can look them up and put them in manually, or if we're bringing this in from a text file we just need demo02 in there and compt01, and we could repeat that down the column. I've just left blanks here because PostTrans will ignore the blanks, and as soon as it detects a change in this key data it creates a new transaction. So it'll start at row 30 and it would carry on down until it detects this change here in data. So basically we've got a sales invoice, 5-line sales invoice, followed by a 2-line sales invoice, single line sales invoice, a credit note, sales invoice with 2 lines, purchase invoice with 5, and a purchase order with 5 transactions on it, all going to several different companies. And of course, well, I can't say there's no limit on the companies, but it will handle, I think it's really down to the fact that Xero only authorises up to 50 companies that we can write to at any one time. And I suppose it's worth pointing out that you see this Xero login here, that takes PostTrans through the login procedure in Xero to authorise which companies it can talk to. So if you add a new Xero company, you may need to do that at some point. Okay, so let's press import. PostTrans scan down. It's scanned down the first 5 lines as we discussed earlier. It's displayed there which company it's going into, which account it's selected, and various information there, the VAT. Of course, that contact, instead of using the company name, we could have actually used the actual company account, which is probably the preferred way of doing it to be more precise. Okay, let's post that. So now let's post that in the first company. Now let's switch to the second company, Compto blah blah blah, and we can post that. And of course we could say don't ask again, and that's another transaction going to the Comtech accounts database, and now it should just sit there and process. Fingers crossed. Oh, we've got an error. It's basically saying 711 doesn't exist in my data file. I'm not too sure whether it does or doesn't. Let's just change it to a different account. Joys of messing around with demonstration data. Let's say don't ask again, and there we go. So we can see down there we've got the transaction references, purchase invoice, and a purchase order. Now, if I double click on this reference, it will open, it has opened the purchase order. So there's purchase order 12, and there is what was on it. Yep, 5 lines. We had the various different products on there. Now it's worth pointing out when you double click on there you kind of have to have been in that company last. So if I clicked on any of those Demo02 it would try and find them in the Comtech accounts data file. That's the only thing you must realise. But there we can see that transaction, and there it was in the template. Yeah, and it was as simple as that. We just posted to multiple companies. So yeah, if you had several different companies and you charged one and then invoiced the other and all that sort of business, then you could create your own little template and post that in. This does require, obviously, the pro version of PostTrans. Thank you and good night.